All right, Anthony on Air podcast, brand new episode. And the question of the day, have you received your stimulus? Are you stimulated? Frankie C, special guest co-host, back in the saddle again. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. Nice sunny day. It's beautiful out. I'm doing the podcast. What could be wrong, you know?
Right. Did you get your stimulus check yet?
I did not check my mail yet because I like to give it a little time to air out after the mailman drops it off.
Did you? Are you not a direct deposit guy?
I am a direct deposit guy. I did not check. I will check, though. I did not check before the show. I will check later on, though.
This started happening just prior to the show. I actually saw one of these last night. Then I saw another one this morning. Then two more this afternoon. Supposedly, people are getting millions of dollars in their direct deposit. But it's not, they're not really getting the millions of dollars. We go down to Florida for this story here of a woman that received $3.5 million, I think, at first, and then eventually $8.5 million in her bank account instead of the $1,200 we're all supposed to be getting.
ATM pulling out her economic stimulus money. Diana Iaguli getting quite the surprise.
We happened to see the one receipt for the $3,500,000, which I have, and we kind of ignored it, kind of thought maybe it was a glitch in the system.
Not thinking too much about it till this morning.
When I went back today.
First of all, who in their right mind could ignore $3.5 million?
Why would you ignore that?
Why would you ignore that? What would you do if you saw $3.5 million in your account?
Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I would call the bank and tell them there was something going on. I wouldn't be the jerk that's like, all right, I'm going to just withdraw a few million before they figure out their mistake. Cause
no, that feels like it was a shot at me. That feels like a little bit of a shot at me just there.
It's a shot at whoever the jerk is.
Well, that's not nice because I would have ordered up
You're
some
the
jet
jerk,
skis. I'd have been
Don't
like,
be a jerk.
rounded jet skis on me. Let's go down to the lake.
Yeah, let's go to jail because you're an idiot.
All right. Be honest, and I want to know in the comments what you would do if you found the $3 million in your bank account. Also want to know if you got your stimulus yet, because it seems like some people got it and some people didn't.
Well, he's got to put his signature on it. So that's what's,
That's the other big story today, that Trump wants to put his name on it. Anyway, I want to know if people would. I don't know what I would do, but the idea of maybe and possibly moving it into one of my other accounts, like I wouldn't go out and buy jet skis right away, but the idea of moving maybe $1 million or $2 million over to another account just to kind of wait and see what happens, be like, oh, I didn't know, wasn't sure.
Is that illegal?
I don't know if that's legal. Who knows what's legal or not? I mean, the money just shows up in your account. Listen to what this woman did down in Florida, though. This is crazy.
What did she do?
Do the $20, and it went up to, I think, $8 million. I think 500,000. So
she went into her account, so $3.5 million. Then she's like, I need $20, and noticed that it went up to $8.5 million.
And I said, boy, there's more in it today than yesterday. And so then my husband just said, he says, boy, and we're eating bread and water.
Diana is retired. Her husband furloughed from his job at a local restaurant. A cool $8.5 million would have come in handy.
Pay my rent, pay the electric and water, and fix the car. Yeah.
Her bank alerting her on her phone when she withdrew the last $100 of her real stimulus money this morning.
My phone went off. That fairy tale went out the window. So
a new ATM receipt confirming that, showing just a penny left. Clearly, there'd been a malfunction with the ATM she'd been using, but that didn't stop her.
So
they robbed her.
They robbed her.
They took out all of her money.
She didn't have a lot of money to begin with, which is the crazy part.
I'm sure she had more than a penny.
No, because she had to take the money out. She was paying her bills. So they put the money in. They didn't rob her. They put the money in. They realized the error. They took the $8.5 million out. That's even if the money was in there. I mean, all this is just transactional on a sheet. So they could have just fixed they could have just fixed it.
You're saying that she had a bank account of $20 and she took out the 20, thinking that she was going to have zero left.
Right. She checked her account, $3 million. She checked it again to take out $20, $8.5 million, and then she went and paid a bill, and then that's when it was confirmed that she had a penny left in her account. But wait.
Making someone else's day. A young nurse wearing scrubs, picking up diapers and baby food at Walmart early this morning.
I know the customer service, the manager there. I says, I need you to take her at register 5 because I want to pay for all her things. And it made me happy to do that, even though I don't have $8 million. But you should have saw her face. And she kept saying, thank you.
And she told me she knew that money wasn't really in her account, but it was just fun to see that 8.5.
You better believe it was fun. So she has no money, yet she still went ahead and paid for a nurse's diapers, paid for a nurse's bill at Walmart.
That is amazing. That's something that a hero does. That's
right.
That's good stuff.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. So this was. I thought they put in $8 million and they took out everything. Like I thought, like they took out the $8 million that they messed up and the rest of her stuff too.
No, they didn't.
Okay, so the checking account was okay. I got it.
Yeah, it was all basically there. But it's like it's a harsh reminder for everybody too. I think because people don't realize like how bad a shape some people are in and living paycheck to paycheck. And even like I feel like a lot of Americans are. Even the ones that are doing well, that have nice cars and go on vacations, they're still kind of living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have a ton. I think there was something like the average American has a few $100s in their savings account. Yeah,
you rely on that. I mean, you depend on it. You have to live your life assuming you're getting that check, your paycheck. And once that stops, your life completely goes upside down. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, so that 12 hundo is really going to come in handy for a lot of people. But I find it fascinating because when I started seeing that story pop up over and over and over again, I'm like, is this a scam or something? Like, what is happening? But it's just, it's people making mistakes in the IRS. And I was reading some of the comments of like, how could the IRS do this? It's like the IRS is made up of people, dude. Like, how many mistakes do you make at a day at work? You make mistakes. It happens. What are you going to do?
That's a big one, though. I mean, I can understand maybe her getting twice the amount.
Yeah.
Getting 2,400. But in millions, how does that go down?
That is a big one, and it is kind of crazy. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but Forbes found a loophole in the CARES Act, which is the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. That's basically what's providing the 12 honey and where all this money is coming from. When you combine a provision in the CARES Act with the tax codes that the Republicans and President Trump passed, what was it, last year or the year before? I think it was 2016.
2018.
2018. I'm sorry. You're right. 2018. It basically opens up a window for certain people. And I don't want to get too much into the weeds with this, but it has to do with pass through. There's like a pass through tax thing. If you have like a business that has a pass through, I don't know. I didn't understand it all entirely, but basically some people who are making over $1 million because of the CARES Act are going to walk away with $1.7 million in tax refunds.
No, there's nothing corrupt going on.
Yeah, I mean
everything that happens. I'm sorry, I'm just everything. There's not a good thing that you could look at and go, "This is 100% good."
Yeah,
there's always some.
There is always something. They're estimating around 43,000 people are going to benefit from this. I'll read you the passage here. And again, this is from Forbes. For those earning $1 million annually, a tax break buried in the recent coronavirus relief legislation is so generous that its total cost is more than total new funding for all hospitals in America and more than the total provided to all state and local governments. Someone wrongly seized on this health emergency to reward ultra-rich beneficiaries, likely including the Trump family, with a tax loophole not available to middle-class families. This net operating loss loophole is a loser that should be repealed. Analysis by the JCT showed in just how skewed a fashion the tax provision benefits the wealthy. It found that 82% of the benefits of the policy go to about 43,000 taxpayers who earn $1 million annually. So not everybody will get $1.7 million. Some people will get less, but some people out of that 43,000 people will get more. Either way,
the average.
So it's 1.7 million is the average. Either way, this should be fixed immediately. And the weird thing is I know they shout out Trump on this one, but Trump, I don't think he's even petty enough.
You can't, because he guaranteed, number one, he didn't read it.
He didn't exactly.
Number two, the Congress wrote it. It's not Trump didn't write it.
Right. And the bigger issue here is it's 43,000 people. It's not who cares about one person. It's 43,000 people. Like, you got to put a stop to that because that money could be useful everywhere else. Out here by me, Frankie C, the hospital out here by me, somebody just anonymously donated $1 million to go straight to all the workers in the hospital. Like, not for a building, not for PPE, just here's $1 million right off the top.
That is incredible.
To be whacked out between full-time and part-time employees. Everybody's going to get their percentage. I thought that was incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Shout out to that person, whoever did that. Thank you very much for that. That's amazing.
And more
need more of that. More stories like that. Please.
More stories like that for sure. And more fun news. Did you hear about The Mandalorian? Did you hear about this?
I heard about... no, all I know is that season 3 is coming in the fall. I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know the latest news on Mandalorian.
Latest breaking news on The Mandalorian. May 4th. This May 4th. A couple weeks away. May
Star Wars Day.
Be with you. Star Wars Day. Absolutely. Disney Plus is going to release 8 episodes of a behind-the-scenes look at The Mandalorian so far. So it's going to be like a making of The Mandalorian.
Nice.
8 episodes. Jon Favreau is obviously going to be featured in it, hosting it, whatever it is. I don't know. He's going to be the big, obviously he's the guy behind it. And that is coming to Disney Plus on May 4th. So we got a lot of good content coming here in a couple of weeks.
That is awesome.
Are you excited about this? You watching that? Because I love behind the scenes stuff.
Have you seen The Mandalorian?
I've never seen The Mandalorian, but I am obsessed with Favreau, and I obviously love Disney. So I'm more inclined to actually watch the behind the scenes than the actual series itself.
I don't know what I expected. I know you're not a Star Wars guy, but this show, outside of the movies, stands alone as a good just series. It's by itself. If you're not into Star Wars, I mean, obviously it helps to be into Star Wars, but if you're not into it, this is still a good series.
So I can go into this cold and blind and still know what's going on and enjoy the show.
Yeah, there are things here and there that if you were a fan of the movies, then you're going to get it faster, and you'll know little things here and there, the names of certain things or where origins of stuff, but you don't have to have that stuff.
All right, good to know. May 4th, this comes out. I'm just excited about content too. I'm just excited that people are just like understanding and recognizing that there's an issue in the world and we need to be entertained, and they're just jumping on board with like, here's some stuff to watch. So, and especially if you can please the Star Wars fans, which goes, it's about, I would say 93% of the population of the world is a Star Wars fan. So something like this is going to be super helpful in like keeping everybody calm and keeping everybody moving, which I like. I love the next story. I don't know if you saw this, Frankie C, but
I did.
Amy Schumer legit changed the name of her kid. And the reason why she did is absolutely hilarious.
It's a good reason.
It is a good reason. And you know what? I was expecting more from her being a stand-up comic because they tend to be super in tuned to, words and, cadence and all that stuff goes into stand-up comedy. And she missed a big one here.
Yeah, how do you not see that coming? You have to, how long did she go with this name before she changed it?
I think the kid's like 11 months old.
Nobody pointed that out to her husband or anybody close to her?
So supposedly her friend's mother was the first one to figure out what the issue was. And obviously she let her daughter know, and then her daughter, who's Amy Schumer's friends, let Amy Schumer know, and so they made the switch. So her husband's last name is Fisher, I guess. They decided to name the son Gene, and this isn't even in the article, but anybody can see the middle name for the kid is Attell, after Dave Attell.
Dave Attell. Who
Amy Schumer is quite close with, and Attell basically not only launched her career, but he kind of, everybody looks up to Attell in the comedy world. Like
sure.
If you're a stand-up, you worship at Attell. A lot of people that have surpassed Attell in success, and you can add Amy Schumer to this list. She's a big movie star. Still like worship at the feet of Dave Attell. And
Attell's awesome.
He is hysterical and awesome. And same thing goes, I feel like Attell and Colin Quinn are in that same, little realm. And
underrated. Definitely underrated.
Super underrated, super funny. They're both successful. They're both, doing quite fine. Nobody's worried about them. You know what I mean? But, certainly there's other people that are far more successful than them.
Sure.
But I like that Amy Schumer, in one of her movies, she put Quinn in and Attell in, and they were both killer. They were both outstanding. I think Quinn played her dad, and Attell played...
I don't know the movie.
So, yeah, I forget what the name of the movie was.
Yeah, you put them in anything, they're gonna stand out.
Yeah. So when you read the kid's full name, it's Gene Attell Fisher. But when you say it really fast, it sounds like genital.
Yeah, 11 months, Amy. Come on.
11 months. She had no idea.
So they changed the kid's name. Now, the kid, I don't know how aware you are at 11 months, but I assume maybe you're responding to your name, right?
Yeah, yes, you are.
So what did they change it to?
Well, they didn't change his first name. They changed his middle name. So they changed it from Attell to David, which makes a lot more sense.
That's a little better.
I see the desire.
Gene David Fisher.
Yeah, I see the desire to keep Attell because Attell is kind of like super unique. It's Dave's last name. So, there's not going to be any other Attells around. But instead of Gene Attell Fisher, his name is now Gene David Fisher, which certainly is a lot better. But now he does sound like an assassin. So
you can't Gene Attell. Well, you can't do that to a kid. This is the kid's life. He's got to grow up with these names. There are people out there that name. There was a story I heard that someone tried to name their baby Toilet because of where the kid was born.
Ew, he was born in the toilet?
Yeah, this is a long time ago. And the hospital said, no, you can't do that. That's child abuse.
Really?
You're letting you name the kid Toilet. So you got to be careful with naming your kids. This is something they have to live with for the rest of their lives.
I know, seriously. There's no reason for that kind of toilet. Wait, that person shouldn't have been allowed to even have a kid.
Right? But, hey, anybody could have a kid.
I mean, that's messed up. Toilet. That always makes me think of. Do you ever see the video of the woman, the guy and the girl are driving, and the woman's like, "I'm gonna have the baby," and he's like, "No, we're almost at the hospital." And she's like, "Too late," and she just spreads her legs.
Yep.
And he yanks the kid. Oh God. Oh God. That is one tough lady.
Insane. That is a tough lady.
I like how the guy, and not to take anything away from the guy, because he is driving the car and filming at the same time, so he is multitasking.
Oh yeah, he's doing the hard part.
But you can't take it away from her. She's
giving birth in the passenger seat of a moving car. She's by herself.
I'm going to say this, and I don't want to offend anybody, but
power through it.
Yeah, she makes it look so easy that
That's
you
true.
kind of wonder what everybody else is like. What is your
Maybe
problem?
that she's in the right position. She probably discovered the correct position for childbirth is sitting down in an Oldsmobile. Who the hell knows?
Because I got to be honest with you, like I was in the room with my wife. Well, for my son it was a natural. For my daughter was a C-section, so that's a different thing. But for the natural, like it was incredibly difficult, and I'm holding legs, and she's breathing. This woman in the car is like, "I hate to ruin your Camry, but this is happening," and she's like yanks the kid out.
It looked like she was like grabbing a water bottle that rolled under the seat. She just leaned forward, reached down, and there was the baby.
But it makes you think, like, maybe, like, are we not doing it right? Like, I feel like we should be studying this woman to learn, like, how did she...
She's a modern day miracle. I don't know how
really
that happened.
Is.
No huffing and puffing, I don't think, right? Maybe a little, but I mean, she was ready. I don't know if it was her first kid, maybe after a couple, it's easier. It just happens faster, maybe.
That is true. They do say that.
It didn't seem like she was in too much pain. It just bloop.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And she like pulled it out herself. Like, how many times do you see people where like they do have a baby in a weird place and they're like, paralyzed. They can't do anything. She was just like, I got it. No problem. I guess it just
especially
goes back
with you, like in a doctor's office and the surgery in the hospital room, and they got all these lights and there's like 11 people probably, and there's monitors. This was in a car. There was nothing, and the kid's probably fine.
Yeah. It was
maybe there's like a Band-Aid stuck to its head from the floor of the seat, but that's that's life. That's what happens.
I know. If that was my wife in my car, the first thing that kid would have saw is a Gatorade bottle. That's literally, there's always a Gatorade bottle on the floor of my car. I don't know why.
Chances are the kid's got to replenish some electrolytes after that journey anyway, so
yeah,
you never know.
But it made me feel like I did have that like what the hell moment, because for my son it was so difficult. Like there was so much. Like I said, there were, like you said, there's people in the room. My wife completely like passed out for a second because they gave her it's a long story, but there was all these things that happened and the monitors and all, and I kind of like want to go back into the hospital and show them that video and be like, what? How come we didn't get this? What happened?
This is what I wanted.
Yeah, this is what we ordered. we ordered the number 2 in the Camry. Quick, easy.
Next time, just go to your car. I bet it's the way she was like sitting or something, and she probably had like 10 kids before that, and it was like routine.
I mean, it's just insane. But I think it goes back to that, like, there's weird things about human beings where we will just rise to any occasion. Like
True.
There was one thing that happened a few weeks ago where it was another case where some dude got run over in the city by an SUV, and literally like 40 people came running over and lifted up an SUV, just picked it up, and they dragged the guy out. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, you just see all these like instances where people will just will do something that is unfathomable. They'll do something that's really difficult.
Do you ever see, it's on YouTube, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, but that video of the person stuck between the train and the platform, and like hundreds of people just push the train, and the train literally tilts so that they can get the person out. That is pretty cool. It's an amazing thing. All of a sudden, all these people just rush to the side of the train and start pushing it.
Yeah.
And they tilt the train over so they can get the person out from underneath.
I mean, it takes the same strength that all those people needed. Like that's what that woman needed to do, just to kind of grab that baby, because that's.
Yeah. Not only did she give birth, but she caught it and was able to handle everything after that. You think you'd be in the worst kind of pain, and you just don't want to look at any. You just. I guess they went to the hospital after, but
like I said, I've seen it for myself. Like you can't do anything. And how many times have you seen it? Like I've seen it like not myself, but you watch it and it's like people are like,
screaming.
Yeah, it's so difficult. She made it look like no big deal.
Looks like she was taking her socks off. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
baby.
Seth, I know. Right? Think about that the next time you go and try and tie your shoe and you don't lose your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, winded from tying my own shoe. This woman's catching a baby. Seth Meyers' wife, she had a baby. I think the first one was like in a taxi cab, and the second one was like in the lobby of their building, right?
That's right. I don't know if that definitely happened. I don't know which one it was, but yeah, they had it in the lobby. It was like, the baby's coming now.
And he said it's the same thing. Like, I guess some people are just prone to they have like their delivery, their labor is like 20 minutes and that's it. That's all you're getting is like 20 minutes,
For those just tuning in, this is two guys talking about how difficult it must be for a woman to give birth. An issue we know, we could not relate to other than witnessing it from the sidelines.
Yeah. Very sidelines.
This would have been all this with a grain of salt.
This would have been a good one to have Janine on for, not yesterday's show. This one for sure.
Yes.
John Krasinski. Speaking of Disney, John Krasinski from The Office is in talks and has been having secret meetings with Kevin Feige, who is basically the mastermind behind the entire Marvel universe. He's the guy that makes it all go. And they are talking about an undisclosed project. Now, something that I didn't know about until recently when John Krasinski was on Ellen. Did you know this, Frankie C? He was up for the role of Captain America.
I did know that.
You did?
And I have to say Chris Evans was an amazing choice for Captain America. I can't really see John Krasinski as Captain America. I don't know why. He doesn't seem like he would be good for it.
Yeah, it's weird because I think everybody sees him as, Jim from The Office,
Yeah.
But he also got super buff and all in action mode for the Jack Ryan series, which is on Amazon, which I still haven't seen, but I'm dying to watch because I love Jack Ryan. I love that whole folklore. I don't know.
But he still has that goofy, kind of pudgy lower half of his face that just doesn't scream superhero to me.
Why are you picking on the lower half of his face?
Oh, he's a great guy. I'm sure he's wonderful. But just the look. He doesn't have the right look for Captain America.
Yeah, but that was an odd. You honed in on the lower face, and I'm wondering why. Because
I thought of him as Captain America when I heard about the news. I know what he looks like. I know what Chris Evans looks like. And I just pictured him as Captain America, and I just see Jim with his goofy, smirk that he gives the camera every 20 seconds.
That's the thing. You'd have to have an entire movie where he doesn't look anywhere near the camera because it'll just take all the Office people right out of it. But yeah, he said on Ellen that he actually was putting the suit on when Chris Hemsworth walked by. And he was all like jacked. He was all in like Thor mode. And Chris Hemsworth walked by and he was like struggling to put the suit on. And he was like, "Hey, mate." And he was like, "Okay, I don't have a shot at this." And he didn't. He didn't get it at all.
Wait a minute. Why would that stop him?
Because like Hemsworth was all like jacked up like for Thor, and the Captain America's got to be pretty jacked too. And he was
he didn't think he was jacked enough.
Yeah, he didn't think he was all jacked up enough. And then Chris Evans eventually wound up getting it. And Chris Evans is great at it, though. He's a really good Captain America.
I like him. He's a great actor. Did you see him in Knives Out? He was great in that.
I didn't see Knives Out yet. No, I'm dying to see that one, too. Everybody says that one's really good.
Now there's this new thing coming out, I think on Netflix or Hulu. Him and like a murder mystery, and he's trying to figure out he's the dad, and I think his son is accused of murdering another student or something. And it's like this series, I guess. I don't know how many episodes, but it's coming
Chris
out
Evans
soon.
is doing it, or
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans is doing it. Yeah, I like.
It
Chris
looks
Evans.
really good.
But you know, you brought up a good point, because I had the concern too about goofiness, but then you have Deadpool, so I feel like, you know, we're kind of,
Yeah, but he doesn't look goofy. He acts goofy.
Also, AntMan was kind of like a little on the goofier side of things.
Yeah, but I almost feel like anybody, no hate towards what's his face, Ant-Man.
Yep.
Him. No hate towards him. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but he was great. But I feel like almost any actor can play Ant-Man, because there's no expectation for Ant-Man, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Captain America is a little more
Right.
popular and a little more set in some people's minds. Like Wolverine, there's only a certain amount of people that can play Wolverine.
You're right. I get what you're saying. Nobody knew who the hell Paul Rudd, by the way. Nobody knew who the hell Ant-Man was, really, for the most part.
Right. Anybody could be Ant-Man. It doesn't, just a normal looking guy could be
I mean,
Ant-Man.
to be honest with you, Ant-Man was just as much of a surprise to me that they were even making it, as much as Iron Man was when they first announced that 12 years ago, or whenever the hell it was, you know.
He was surprised by Iron Man?
Everybody was. When it was like, hey, we're gonna make we're gonna go into the Marvel universe and make a movie. They bypassed Spider-Man. They bypassed X-Men. Like, they bypassed a lot of properties that kind of already had,
to be fair,
proving ground.
Spider-Man and X-Men were done a couple of times.
Right, but that hasn't stopped them from making. There's been more Spider-Man
That's
movies than Batman movies, like, in the last 15, 20 years.
We've had like 3 Spider-Men in a span of like 5 years.
Yeah, we've
Or
had a
something
lot.
like that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of them. And it was funny, too, because I was like, oh, Tobey Maguire's pretty good. But then you see some of the other ones, you're like, holy crap, Tobey Maguire kind of sucked.
Yeah, you just need a young-looking dude that can, kind of athletic, and you got Spider-Man.
Yeah, but so anyway, Iron Man was a surprise. And a lot of people didn't even want to put the money behind it, because they were kind of like, dude, nobody cares
Who cares about Iron Man?
Iron Man. And nobody did.
Yeah, nowadays, right. Sorry, nowadays it just seems like, of course, Iron Man. Iron Man's huge. He's the biggest character out there. But yeah, you're right. 12 years ago, Iron Man.
Yeah, it's so true. And that's why, and then hit after hit after hit, and they were like, oh, Ant-Man. And I was like, holy crap, they are scraping at the bottom of the barrel. And then I watched it, and it was like, it was pretty good. It wasn't bad,
They are good. I think they need to do a new Hulk movie, because they haven't had a standalone Hulk movie with Mark Ruffalo yet.
Has he never gotten? There's not a Hulk movie with Mark Ruffalo? I thought there was. There's one.
No,
one?
There's 2 Hulk movies that came before the whole, Avengers stuff, and the first one was
Eric Bana.
And then it was hit me with it.
American History X guy.
Yeah. Edward Norton. And he was supposed to be the ongoing Hulk throughout the whole thing.
Is that right?
And he dropped out. Yeah, and then they brought in Mark Ruffalo.
Why did he drop out?
That I don't know. But I'm pretty sure he dropped out, but maybe they got rid of him, but I'm pretty sure he left. And I don't know why.
It's so crazy, this whole thing, because they have such huge actors, and all of them had to commit to this 10-year process, and that never, ever happens.
Yeah, imagine coordinating those schedules of a dozen major actors. If we have to get them all in one spot for this amount of time to shoot, It's got to be a nightmare to make these things.
A nightmare. I mean, I can't even imagine being a producer on that film trying to figure that out with all the, and because all those guys work a ton and put out a ton of movies and TV shows. And
yeah, that's why they get the big bucks, because Marvel, you show up for that one.
Now you do, but in the beginning, it was, even after the success of Iron Man, it was still a gamble for Iron Man 2. This is trending right now. Hashtag Obama Commencement 2020. This young kid sent a tweet out. Hi, Barack Obama. Like most high school and college seniors, I'm saddened by the loss of milestone events, prom and graduation. In an unprecedented time, it would give us great comfort to hear your voice. We ask you to consider giving a national commencement speech to the class of 2020. Kind of a stroke of genius from this kid, Lincoln, to identify a need right now and be like, hey, we could have one person speak up and do this thing. And who better than Barack Obama? Now, I don't know if Barack would have been my first choice. I would have went with Paul Rudd, to be honest with you.
Paul Rudd. I can see that.
I would have definitely went with Hanks. You're right. Who would you go with if you can have any? Not to take anything away from Obama. He's going to be great, but
Obama would be amazing.
It'd be great.
Give that speech.
Yeah, of course.
Who would I pick for that?
Yeah.
I mean, besides us?
I wouldn't want to hear from him.
I don't know. Does it have to be someone that speaks well? Should it be an actor? I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Me, I'm always going to go for like Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell's done some hilarious commencement speeches. If you have time.
But the national one for 2020?
I know. It's such a big
one,
thing.
Man. You got to pick like the person.
Like if I'm
right guy, right? Or woman.
Yeah, if I'm Obama right now, I'm hiring a couple of writers. You know what I mean? Because this has got to be heartwarming and optimistic and encouraging. But there better be a couple of laughs in there, or else you're gonna, especially up at the front. Like I'm calling Kevin Hart. I mean, like, hey, I got to get some stuff down. Like,
call every stand-up comic
easily.
You can get your hands on
easily,
and just get them in a room.
Yeah, completely.
So I don't know who would be my go-to commencement speech.
Who was your commencement speaker? I bet you don't even remember.
Who was my commencement? Oh man, I mean, like if you asked me yesterday, I probably would come up with it, but now that I'm in front of a camera, I can't think of it.
Yeah, I have no idea who mine was. I actually remember my cousin's more. It was John Stossel, and I don't know why that stuck with me, but I remember John Stossel from 2020 delivering a commencement speech in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we had someone big, but I can't think of who it was. It was like either a governor or a former someone or other. I can't think of it, but it was someone big.
And see, this is my point. Like, if you get the governor, right? If you get the senator, that's a big coup for a lot of colleges and universities. And that's a big deal for people because, everybody, grandma and grandpa's coming, aunts and uncles are coming, and, okay, they know governor so-and-so, right? So getting a governor or a senator or something like that, it's a big win for a university at graduation. But is like be honest, like who wants the politician? And this is my knock with Obama. Who wants the politician if you can get anybody you want? Like if you could get anybody you want, I bet you the politician loses every time.
I'd want Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. would
come up there with his sunglasses and his suit and just like give, like if you've seen the Iron Man movies, whenever he gives a speech in front of huge crowds, it gets them crazy. Yeah,
but do you want Robert Downey Jr. or do you want Tony Stark? Like, do you want him to be in character?
I feel like they're not too far apart. I feel like you're gonna get, because whenever I see Robert Downey Jr. on these like whatever he posts videos like on Instagram or whatever, he's kind of has that he's acting a little, I don't know, like a ham. He's out there. So that I want that cool, like Tony Stark-esque speech. He comes out there with his big, all souped up computer glasses, and he just rocks the place. Maybe he flies in on a drone or something.
I was like, who would I want? So I'm like, let me Google most inspiring people. And from it came up, I don't know who this is, OOM came up with the world's most inspiring people. And it's 100 women who are inspiring. And number one is Greta Thunberg. Who gives a rat's ass about Greta Thunberg? See, that's what's crazy about coronavirus. Like, I'm not dumping on Greta. Like, I was digging what she was doing. Like,
you kind of dumped on Greta.
No, but like 2 months ago, like a little girl kind of like getting the conversation going. And for whatever reason, she has that it quality that people honed in on, and it got some heat and some traction, and good for her. But now we're in the world we're in now, and it's like, who cares? Like, that was so, like, this is your list now. This list sucks, because you have Greta Thunberg, who's done nothing. Like, everybody else, Jane Fonda, Michelle Obama, like, everybody else is more inspiring than the number one choice on that list. So that list did not age well.
Maybe she shouldn't be number one, but she should be on that list. She's done some cool stuff. She spoke in front of so many different organizations.
2 years, you're not going to remember who the hell that person was. Just like you can't remember who your commencement speaker is.
It was like one day. Greta Thunberg's been around for a while.
Greta Thunberg is good, but she's no John Stossel. I'll just say that. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Who is, though?
John Stossel. Okay, you know what? This is going to be weird. You know who I would like?
Who would you like?
Here's some people: Oprah, Elon Musk, Barack Obama, Michael Jordan, Ellen DeGeneres, Jim Carrey. Motivational people: Tony Robbins, Richard Branson. You know who I think would be outstanding? Bob Iger.
Bob
Iger, the guy who ran Disney for the last 20 years.
Okay,
that
but
guy
I feel
would
like
be successful.
He's successful, but how? You need someone inspiring and like a powerhouse. Like, nobody knows him from this. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know anything about him.
People know him. He's a big deal.
I feel like he's not popular enough. He's a big deal. He's a huge deal. He's a big. He runs one of the biggest companies in the world. But who wants to hear him talk about anything? I don't want to.
I think he'd be good. I think he would
be okay. But I feel like you need someone that's going to put some butts in the seats.
I get what you're saying. There's more popular people.
Right.
This would be weird, but I think The Rock would be good.
Oh, The Rock would be great.
He'd be really good at it.
I'd love to see him.
And he would know how to walk into the place. And let's not discount an entrance.
That is key.
You
got him or you lose him with the entrance, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock brings him in every time.
And then he takes the glasses off and does the eye thing. That, people go crazy for that. They'll love that. Yeah, you got
they will love that.
I can only do it on the right side, not the left. I look like I'm about to give birth in a car in a Toyota when I do it on the left side.
You look like you need to be taken to a hospital.
So
maybe we should have here's a good idea. What about a group of people that go one at a time?
No.
Doctors, a few nurses, firefighters, people that are inspiring.
No, I don't like it.
Okay.
Got to be one person. What
about the clown from It?
I just thought, who's hot right now is Fauci. I don't know if Fauci would be good, but
as a speaker, maybe. I mean, if someone writes it,
he would need help. He would need a lot of writers.
He would need some help. Yeah, he can't just go off the cuff. But
he's an inspirational dude.
Totally. I mean,
okay, do you see what I'm saying now? Where's Greta Thunberg on this friggin' list? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, again,
she's on the list. She's not one, but she's on the list. Then again, I don't know if she's experienced enough. She's not old enough to be.
That's what I'm saying.
A huge leader. She's a leader in many aspects.
I wouldn't say
you have to give her that.
I would say she kind of caught. She's got an it factor. She kind of caught something. And she was, she spurred a lot of conversation, but I wouldn't say.
Yeah, but she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
She's not an idiot.
Do you think there's any chance that Barack Obama doesn't do this?
That's a good question. I think he does it. Maybe there's a small chance, but that would be bad if he doesn't do this.
How could you say no to this? Like, you can't.
I know.
It's trending. He was tagged. There's no way he doesn't know what's happening. It's a huge story today. Like,
the only excuse he give, and I can't even say it's a good excuse. I would say maybe that he just wants to step out of the spotlight or something. He doesn't want to, go back in time. I don't know.
That's like, yeah, that's the only excuse he could come up with. But I don't think I get what you're saying. Because that's what else could you say? No, but what else could you say other than like, hey, it's not my time, or I had my time in the spotlight and.
Right.
Because you are kind of definitely shitting on the current president, Trump, and you are to a degree shitting on Biden a little bit. Not shitting on, but like you're taking a little bit of the heat away from Biden, which is not like a good,
Well, it can't be Biden or Trump. Because they're running against each other, and that would be unfair.
But they weren't asked, right? This kid asked Obama,
right?
I'm saying like if going on what your excuse is, like it could be like, hey, I don't want to take away any steam from Joe, or you know what I mean, like.
We should get Jimmy Carter up there. Was he 97, 98?
Yeah. I wonder if he's still building houses. Like, is he still? I could see him being like, to hell with the ordinance.
He's still building houses.
Yeah, but they stopped all non-essential construction. So,
today, probably not at the moment.
I could see him out there just hammering away and being like, "Screw it, man! I've been through everything. I get through coronavirus."
Yeah, I got a few years left anyway. If I go out, I go out, doing what I love. Speaking of people doing what they love,
go ahead.
Mind if I throw this up there?
Please. Oh yeah. We almost forgot.
So there are some people that cannot. Like you and I, we love hockey.
I'm dying for hockey, man.
Oh,
I am like noticeably missing something from my life. Like I haven't spoken to relatives or been able to hug my mom or dad, and it bothers me less than the fact that I can't watch the Islanders play.
Man, I hear you, and these guys kind of feel it too. These are firefighters took to the ice during quarantine times. And are playing. Let's see if I can hold this up here.
Yes. Hold it a little closer. That's a great shot.
Close. They're playing fully covered in, I guess, hazmat gear or some kind of gear with oxygen tanks on their backs. And they're playing a game of hockey. I don't know how this works. I mean, you got to add another 40 pounds for that oxygen tank.
Yeah.
And the goalie can't be too comfortable.
No, he cannot.
Rolling around on that thing. And if a puck hits that going at 90 miles an hour, there's your, intermission show right there.
It's like an old Bugs Bunny sketch. It's like it just go flying through the roof. You just see a hole.
It's almost worth it. It's almost worth it if that happens.
Well, you can't hit each other, right? That's got to be a non-checking game because you can't.
I would hope so.
But it's
I don't even know. I didn't see if the refs are even in this thing.
It's kind of a stroke of genius to be like, hey, we're firefighters. We love hockey. We have all the equipment. We can literally quarantine ourselves and still skate around. Let's do it. And that's exactly what they did.
There is it looks like there's one ref, and he's kind of, just looks like the other guys, but he doesn't have a tank on. I don't know how he's breathing, but he's there. And it's a weird, and there are people, it looks like there are a few people in the audience too.
My first thought after seeing that is, how much do you think the whole gear, how what are we talking about here? Because I don't know if you know this, but I just got a big fat check. So I'm kind of looking to,
let's see what we're looking at here. We got
how much could that cost, the whole shebang? Because they're by the way, they're covered head to toe. They're wearing the whole gear.
I don't think these are firefighters, and it looks like they're maybe using their own gear.
Right.
So it's not like they bought this stuff.
No, it
for
doesn't
the
cost.
game.
No, but I want to play in the game. How much is? What am I looking at for that?
Oh, I see. I think you have to volunteer as a firefighter.
I bet you the hazmat suit would be better. Would be cheaper
Than the oxygen tank.
Yeah. Well, the oxygen tank is going to be expensive either way. Same oxygen tank on the back of all of them, but
Right.
they're wearing the firefighter gear, and the other guys are kind of wearing like a hazmat suit. I bet you that hazmat suit would be cheaper.
Probably. They both. I mean, they're pulling it off. I don't know how.
I mean, if
But they
Dwight
are.
Schrute can afford a hazmat suit, I think I can afford a hazmat suit.
I don't know how much he was getting paid, but that's true. I would love to play again. I can't wait.
I know.
When is this all over? 2000. God knows when.
I kind of came. I was of the mindset, and we'll leave it here. But I was of the mindset of like, I think we'll have a summer. Like that was my thing. Like I think we'll be back to normal in the summer. And at some point yesterday, I was just thinking about it and reading the news and everything, and I just completely abandoned that idea. Like it's not.
You're going to be in your yard maybe, but
Yeah,
you can't go to the beach.
Yeah. They're talking about closing beaches, not opening beaches for the season. You're starting to hear all these things go around. And by the way, this was how this all started to begin with. You start floating these ideas around, and like even opening up the country again. The governor of California, okay, he was making news yesterday for reopening. So I go to read the article because it's like, oh, Governor of California, Gavin Newsom says, talks about a reopening plan. Go to click on it. It wasn't a reopening plan. It was basically, we have to reopen slowly. Like that was essentially what was breaking news yesterday. And I'm
Brilliant
like,
plan.
yeah. And Cuomo has been hinting at reopening the same way, but he's doing the same thing. Trump is he's talking about it. He was supposed to reveal who was on this reopening planning committee yesterday. I don't think that happened. I mean, if it did, I missed it. And so like, even if that gets like, you're probably talking about something concrete being like, this is what we're going to put into place. We're probably 2 to 3 weeks away from that announcement happening,
Yeah.
let alone actually reopening anything up. So,
I mean, once we have to get the vaccine, I mean, what else? What other choice is there?
well, that was the other thing that I was thinking about too, because as I was reading about these sporting events and sports starting to come back and them playing without any people in the stands, and that survey that I read not that long ago, that was like 75% of people won't even think about, 75% of hardcore sports fans won't even think about buying a ticket to anything until there is a vaccine in place. And that kind of struck me pretty hard. And I was kind of like, you know what, we're really probably a year away from going to any big time events like that. I mean, we talked about it with the concerts and everything. And, I still believe shutting down travel is the way to go, because you look at like, oh, by the way, this is the other part. This made me laugh earlier too. How much does your location suck completely based off of how many people don't have coronavirus? Like, there's a lot of coronavirus in New York because New York's awesome because everybody wants to come here. You're looking at North Dakota. They have 20 people who have it. It's like your state sucks because nobody wants to go there.
Because the virus doesn't even want to go there.
Yeah, exactly. Because this thing traveled by traveling, and if people don't travel, that's why like there are people like in certain states that like I don't get what all the big hubbub is because they're not seeing it at all.
Yeah, you're not getting New Yorkers flying to Kansas every day because why? No offense, Kansas.
I mean,
love you.
You've got to think, yes, of course, people want to be safe and don't want to get this. But at a certain point, there's probably a nice little middle class family sitting there, and the husband and wife are kind of like, does this place suck? That there's like just nobody.
And I'm sure people go there thinking, you know what? This place sucks. Nobody's going to bother me here. I'm going to be by my... This is perfect for me.
Yeah, true.
They love to be in a sucky area where no one bothers them.
Very, very true.
And that they don't get coronavirus.
That's true. That's true. People are probably looking at that as a plus. I would still be kind of like thinking like, man, my town sucks. There's just nobody. Nobody's.
But this couldn't have been the thing that sold it for you, though.
No.
Like,
No, but like if I was in a town where there was like literally no infections, or in a city where like, I forgot, North Dakota literally has like 200 people infected. Like that's nobody, you know, that's like your aunt came back with it by accident because she was visiting somebody who had it. That's that level. It's just kind of like, I would really be thinking like my town, my city, my state really sucks because like,
yeah. Agreed. Yeah, New York.
I mean, it's a twisted way to look at it, but I had that thought earlier, like, you know.
Yeah, just because the show, everybody's coming in and out of here.
Like, there's a reason why New York, Detroit, like people are like, why Louisiana? Because New
people
Orleans.
go in and out of there.
Yeah, because people
Orleans
wanted to go
big.
there, and that's what happened.
It's on the coast. There's beaches.
Mardi Gras, you know, all that stuff, you know. So, yeah, it's just it's a weird statistic, but it is a statistic that you can look at. You can point to the places that don't have it and see how friggin' boring it is to live and exist there, and know that they have zero tourism. You know, that's kind of what's happening.
Give me a ball of twine or something. Maybe people will go there.
I bet you can look at coronavirus versus actual literal tumbleweed, and those two things would be like yin and yang, you know, they would be interlocking. The more tumbleweed you have, the less coronavirus you have. Agreed. All right, I could see I left you speechless.
You did. The tumbleweed thing did it for me. I was like, you know what, you're not gonna beat that. I don't know how I could come back from that.
Last podcast, I ended the podcast before I let you answer the coat question. This podcast, I'm going to let you answer. What's on there?
You're going to let me do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So behind me here is a 2x4, and you would appreciate this, I think. Mm-hmm. Autographed by Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Let me get it here.
Is that those are the pants you chose to wear? That was a mistake.
It's my pajama pants. Yeah. Pajama pants. So we got, a few years ago, I went to Comic-Con in New York. Uh-huh. He was there. Me and my brother went. My brother bought this for me. Millhouse. To Frank. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh. He signed it right in front of me. Mike took a picture. Millhouse took a picture with him.
That is hilarious. Now, did they have the wood there to buy?
Yes, he had stacks of 2x4s.
Did he really?
He was signing. Yep.
That's friggin' hysterical.
Isn't that? Come on, that's cool.
That is great. I'll tell you what I love about that. Like other wrestlers, you don't really have you don't have a thing to sign. You don't have a bat. You don't have a baseball. You don't have a hockey puck. You know,
yeah, he has props.
He's got the prop that's like signable.
Totally.
That's
you can't get like a Jake the Snake. He's not going to hand out snakes to people.
Yeah, he's not going to sign
Brutus
a
the
rubber
barber's
snake.
not going to hand out scissors.
Right. I bet you that's a pain in the ass though. Like everywhere he goes, he's got to order like some wood.
They're not light. It's a heavy piece of wood.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Because you could probably sign a smaller piece of wood and be just as satisfying. But he legit has
if
the
if you
2x4.
cut this in half, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But no, this is the real deal.
That's awesome. All right, good background today, Frank.
Thank you.